Hi, buddy. Welcome to the Stretch Pass. I'm Steve Clark, play-by-play voice of the Niagara Ice Dogs, along with Matt Young, who writes for OHL Writers and fills in as color commentator on radio for a couple of different teams. Matt, you ready to go with this week's topics?
I certainly am. Let's get going.
All right, let's start off by talking about the big news that came out of the Niagara Ice Dogs camp this week, and that was the surprising return of Ivan Lodnia from the Minnesota Wild organization back to junior hockey. Ice Dogs have a number of things that they can do with Lodnia. How do you think they approach it?
Well, I think right away you got to get him into game action. He hasn't played a whole lot. It's already late October, so you have to get him into game action, I would think. Get him back out on the ice and producing. You know, play him with Akil Thomas, and maybe at the trade deadline, it's no secret this Ice Dogs team needs to rebuild. Maybe you could package them together.
If you're the Minnesota Wild, would you rather have him be a dominant player on a rebuilding team or an integral part of a championship potential team?
For me, it's championship. You know what? He missed a lot of time last year with injuries for the Niagara Ice Dogs. So moving him, having him play deep into the season, that's probably what's going to be more beneficial for the Minnesota Wild and Ivan Lodnia.
Continuing on with an Ice Dog theme, Billy Constantino, drafted by the Ice Dogs, shipped to Kingston in the big Jason Robertson and Jacob Paquette trade last year. He's on the move again to Sault Ste. Marie. Third team in 3 years, a guy who didn't go drafted last year, still remains an intriguing prospect.
Yeah, definitely. I think with Billy Constantino, it's one of those things, it's a matter of finding a fit with him because he's not going to be a shutdown guy, but he's not necessarily capable of manning a power play and quarterbacking it at this stage in the game. So it's a matter of just finding a good fit, putting him on a second power play unit, and I think Sault Ste. Marie is a terrific fit for Billy Constantino going forward.
Going to put you on the spot a little bit here. Did the trade to Kingston of Billy Constantino, did that cost him a potential NHL draft spot?
That's really hard to say. I would think so because, you know what, at the end of the day, bottom line is he was minus 50-something last year, and that's just not good. So when NHL teams are watching that, he's always on the ice when goals are going in on the Kingston Frontenacs. It's not a good look whatsoever. We know Kingston was offensively challenged, but that's still ridiculous, and quite frankly, it probably did hurt him.
If you're looking at the CHL rankings this past week, you might have been surprised to see the Oshawa Generals as the number one team in Canada. They're now 9-1 after losing to Sarnia, surprisingly 9-5. What shocked you more, the fact that they were 9-0 or the fact they lost to Sarnia 9-5 last night?
I'm going to go 9-0 only because that's a long stretch of games to, not lose a game in this league, especially when you have to play on the road. The road's a bit of a struggle. And when you look at it, you figured with this Oshawa Generals team, Sarah Knoll was going to be a big part of it. And quite frankly, he really hasn't been the offensive dominant force that we expected this year. So for them to be 9-0 without him really stepping up his game and contributing to the way he could, that's scary for the rest of the league.
And finally, Oshawa's long-standing rival, the Peterborough Petes, are 8-3 out of the gate. Surprising because they played their first 9 games on the road and were 6-3. A lot of people were pretty critical of the general manager for some of the moves that they made, but it seems to be working out.
Absolutely, it's working out. I didn't necessarily think that the Peterborough Petes were going to be doing this, but you know what? They've got a lot of talent. Nick Robertson's really elevated his game this year. Simeon Arganchintsov's elevated his game. And when you look at a guy like Mason McTavish, who's come in, 16-year-old, probably one of the best shots for a 16-year-old I've ever seen. He's, close to a point a game at this stage in the season. Really good start for him, and I think it just speaks volumes to why they're doing so well.
All right, the Stretch Pass will continue to follow OHL stories whenever we can. You can catch Matt Young's column on Monday at OHL Writers. And for Matt Young, I'm Steve Clark, play-by-play broadcaster for the Niagara Ice Dogs, watching the Stretch Pass, and we'll see you soon.